Hello, hello, hello. I am Indigo Sage, an awakened soul. So, as you guys may know by now, but for the newbies, my new sages, I do have a website where you can get all spiritual information that you need and YouTube information, personal reading information. Um, I just gave a sneak peek for my merchandise store, so that's there. You can get it all at Unapologetically Sage. Unapologetically Sage can also be found on Instagram with some of my photography essay photos that I put on there and other inspirational things. Unapologetically Sage can also be found at the Facebook page. And there you get a little bit more of an insight of Indigo Sage, some of my thoughts, some of the songs I listen to. You know, I think I had put happy birthday to me on the Facebook page. So, there you go. You know my birthday and my sign. Anyway, so go ahead and check me out on social media under unapologeticallysage.com. Welcome to my Tales of Tarot Intuition series. The purpose of this series is to discuss tarot cards of the same title featuring different imagery. I will discuss the basic meaning of the card while ultimately discussing how the imagery relates and changes. Some tarot readers base their sessions on imagery alone. Imagery insight is different for each and every one of us. Both imagery and intuition are very important in tarot. For example, the direction the subject in the card faces. Facing left references the past. Facing forward says present. Facing right speaks of the future. That's not the case for every single card, every single time, but it serves as a strong example of reading tarot by imagery. Let's get started and let's sage this out. Yes, we are doing the Fool card. I am going over the Fool card. And let me remind you all that if you're doing any kind of single card position, you will look at the position of the character in the card. So if they are facing left, that means they are referring to the past. If they're facing straight forward, that means they're referring to the present. If they are facing right, that means they are referring to the future. Keep that in mind as I go through this breakdown of the Fool card. Let's begin. Begin. I always put like a D on the end of my words. I have no idea why, but just come along with me. The Wild Unknown card is a little chick, a little chickie, a little chicken, little chick, little chick or a duck or something. He's little, okay? And it says you may feel spontaneous excitement, naive, and inexperienced as you leave your comfort to begin your journey. The comfort of the nest is left behind in order to begin the journey that has beckoned you. This card represents all emotions felt towards new beginnings, whether it be spontaneous beginnings, excited beginnings, naive beginnings, or inexperienced beginnings. The Fool card represents all of those emotions. Here we have CBD Tarot de Martial. Now, I must say that in the past I always just put de Martial. I always cut off the CBD Tarot portion of it. And I must admit, I did not dive in as deep as I did this time for the Fool. I dove in so deep to where I found the history of the CBD Tarot beginning title of my deck, and it makes a difference. So I do own a CBD Tarot de Marciel deck, only because I was going to say strictly because, but only because a dear friend of mine gifted it to me. Um, so I did not realize that there was a difference. Some are just De Marciel decks, and then some are a little extraordinary, and they are the CBD Tarot De Marciel decks. So I have a CBD Tarot De Marciel deck. And real quick, it says CBD stands for Convor Ben Dove Tarot de Marciel is a restored edition. CBD Tarot de Marciel represents Nicholas Conver's design. It is faithful to its details and lines without trying to correct them or to improve on the original. And from what I read, like the ones that are not consistent and true to the CBD tarot are the ones that are reproduced with a computer. So basically, I have a very special deck. All right, that's true to the people who created it, which is Convor Ben Dove. It's French. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. However, I'm going to move on. All right. And I'm just smiling even bigger because, as I said, this was gifted to me from a very special friend, and I appreciate him every day. All right. So, the Fool. The Fool. You are being called to commit and follow your heart as you move along your destined path. Okay? So this also represents others may doubt your abilities, but no matter what people say, you must accept your journey. All right? Now, remember, all of this is about imagery. Okay? So in the previous card, it had a little chick which talked about being spontaneous and the excitement and being naive and inexperienced and leaving the nest. So that belongs to that imagery right there with the chick, the previous card. And it also was facing to the right, which is the future. This one also faces the future. CBD Tarot de Marciel faces the future as well. And it's saying you are being called to commit and follow your heart as you move along your destined path. Okay, moving along your destined path is like the key words for going towards your future. And he faces the future. Your guardian angels are telling you to trust where the universe is taking you. This is the So Below deck. She has no plan or agenda except for enjoying the day. And I love this card. This is one of my most favorite images of the Fool simply because it's not so foolish to just plan to enjoy your day. Like that's not a foolish thing to have no plan, no agenda, except for to enjoy your day. And of course, walking amongst nature. I love to walk amongst nature. If you guys know anything about Indigo Sage and have checked out my page, you will know that I love walking amongst nature and letting God speak to me and Mother Nature and the universe. I just connect with everything, everyone, every It's just beautiful. So this is, I said one of, but I think this is my favorite, my absolute favorite Fool card. Um, because I don't see any foolishness in it. However, I do get where, since she doesn't have a plan or an agenda, I do see and have experienced how, you know, other people can view her as a fool. Like, you don't have a plan or an agenda. You're just going day by day, letting the universe be in control and talking to God, and you hear angels. I experience that all the time. But however, I do have a plan and an agenda. However, but I've been in that space though. I've been in that space. I mean, after all, it's zero, the beginning. So, and actually, it's the beginning and the end. But I love this card, okay? And your guardian angels are telling you to trust where the universe is taking you when you see the Fool card. But again, this is about imagery and how there are many different decks, and your intuition needs to speak up and out when you are viewing the cards, or if you are the reader of the cards. Okay? The Fool card can hold dark perceptions as well. The masking of one's true self, denying the consequences of one's actions, lack of logic leading to eccentricity. Okay, and again, that's the masking of one's true self, denying the consequences of one's actions, or lack of logic leading to eccentricity. Now, I'm going to touch on eccentricity. Eccentricity can mean odd behavior. The reason why I'm going to touch on that is because it's not bad to be eccentric, okay? But in this case, it refers to you lacking your logic, which makes it odd. You lacking your own logic makes it odd, okay? So that is also what can show up when the Fool card shows up. The masking of one's true self, denying the consequences of one's actions, and lack of logic leading to eccentricity, which would be foolish. So this is interesting. We have the Easy Tarot showing us their version of the Fool. I could clearly see, but then also it gets a little muddy. But I can clearly see why he's a fool. He has too much going on. It's just too much going on. But then it gets muddy because it looks like he's smart, but then at a certain point he looks not so smart. So let's break this all the way down. This is the only card that I have to break down piece by piece. Okay, so this is the Fool from the Easy Tarot deck. And what you see here, and you see his bottom portion leaning towards the past. You see the top portion focusing and looking towards the future. Okay? So this is how I have to break this down. Leaning towards the past means afraid to make a choice because you fear making the wrong one. Looking towards the future, excitement of new adventures and stepping out into unknown territory. This card is saying both of those things, okay? The upper body is facing the future. The lower body is facing the past. The upper body holds the wisdom for moving towards your goals and trusting the universe. The lower body, spinning a hoop and baton, embodies the anxiety that would hold you back. Now, only you would know where you fall with the more than 50%, like if you're leaning towards the past or leaning towards the future. But this card is balancing and holding both of those energies. So this is a tricky fool's card. This is the fool, but it's a tricky one. Modern Witch Tarot, the Fool. I love this deck so much because it is modern. So, the Modern Witch, the Fool card says she's filled with optimism and pure passion. She expresses her joy as she dances. Okay? Yes, she is close to the edge of the cliff, but this is what it looks like to fully trust your instincts. And let's not deny that this is an image that is so dear and near our hearts of the Rider-Waite. And I know you guys might be wondering, where is the Rider-Waite in all of this? Okay, I almost didn't give it to you, but I'm going to give it to you. Here comes the Rider-Waite. Here's your Rider-Waite fix. And here's the thing. This is all about imagery. This Tales of Tarot series that I'm doing is all about imagery. And yes, we all are familiar with the imagery of Rider-Waite. Every single one of us, everybody who's clicked on this are familiar with the Rider-Waite imagery. I'm assuming, okay? If you're not, feel free to call me out in the comments. But we're all familiar with the Rider-Waite imagery. I am here to push you out of that comfort zone and into other imagery, okay? That will force you to use your own intuition. Whether you are the reader or the querent, I am pushing you into your own intuition as to what it means to you. That can be the person in it, the way they are facing, the images, right down to the dog, because the previous one, even though it reminds you of Rider-Waite, her dog was brown. His dog is white. Who knows what that means to you? If you were to get the previous card, maybe you have a brown dog and that brown dog speaks a lot to you. Imagery is up to the querent of how you take it in and what the message is. Okay? So that's why I'm doing it this way. And I am here to shake it up. I'm going to shake it up. And I shook it up by putting Rider-Waite as the very last card. And it reminds me to tell you guys that the Fool card says it's free from constraints. Okay? That's the bottom line. The Fool is free from constraints. No longer constrained from everyday society and what's expected and normalcy. It's free. You're free. Okay? This is a yes card. All right? Greetings, my sagies, and yes, you are a sagey. You've made it to the end of the video. If you like what you saw, like what you heard, if it resonates with you and you appreciate it, go ahead and show me. Show me that you appreciate it by clicking like and also subscribe so that you'll be notified on the upcoming videos. Check out more Tales of Tarot at unapologeticallysage.com.